Hello, welcome to Sports Cruise on the Almeida channel with me, Josiah. Today we'll be talking extensively about the Supercopa España finale that was played in Jeddah and Saudi Arabia a couple of hours ago, and it just didn't look good for Real Madrid. But it's been their manager, Carlo Ancelotti, who has been raving after that thumping defeat at the hands of their arch rivals, Barcelona. But before we delve deeper, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and then also turn on the notification button, because we'll be bringing to you all the latest and also trending news in the world of sports. So let's start off with the Supercopa España finale. Real Madrid beating Mallorca 3-0 to advance to the final, and then Barcelona, on the other hand, also got themselves a 2-0 win, a comfortable one in fact, over Bilbao to set up a Clasico in the Supercopa final. So it was just a big game, but entering the game, you'd be thinking that after Barcelona beat Real Madrid 4-0 in the La Liga a couple of months ago, yes, definitely they'll be in high spirits. But then it was Madrid that were still favourites heading into it due to their form, because they've won a couple of matches heading into the Supercopa finale. But after Kylian Mbappe gave Madrid the lead just 5 minutes into the game, trust me, they just didn't know what hit them. And if they were, even if they were to write that script, then trust me, maybe they would have asked Kylian Mbappe not to have scored the first goal, because it just turned into one-way traffic. Lamine Yamal scoring over there, where goals from Rafinha, Balde scored. So, it was just a bloodbath for Real Madrid after 90 minutes, despite the fact that Chesney was sent off in the 59th minute or so. Rodrigo, scoring from that resulting free kick, but it was just not enough to save Real Madrid, from that woeful loss. It's been a while they lost heavily like that. But guess what? In their last two games against Barcelona, that's one in the La Liga and then also what they played in the Supercopa finale, they've conceded a total of 9 goals. So that's, an average of 4.5 goals per game. And it doesn't really look good, because in those two games as well, Real Madrid have only managed to score twice, and those were the 2 goals scored by Kylian Mbappe and then Rodrigo. So, talking about Barcelona and Real Madrid, it's just been a one-way affair, or it's just been tilted towards one side, where it's been Hansi Flick gradually getting the upper hand over Carlo Ancelotti. And Carlo Ancelotti had some words to share after that disgraceful defeat in Saudi Arabia, and he says he is disappointed. The whole team is disappointed, but it's now time for them to look at how they can get back into their groove. It looks like Real Madrid are gradually losing some confidence, especially when you have young boys like Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, you have the likes of Casado, Pedri and Gavi just running rings around you. Definitely, you will get frustrated. And on a day, you could see the frustration on the faces of players like Jude Bellingham, Vini Jr., Rodrigo. All these players just didn't have a very good day. It just went bad for them at the office. You sum it up as a very, very dreadful performance from Real Madrid. But for Don Carlo, he says that they would have to try and get back to winning ways. At least they can build their confidence, because there are other competitions to play in. They still have the Copa del Rey, they have the UEFA Champions League, where they are always the masters, because they have won a record 15 titles. And then also not just that, but then they have the league also to play, where they are second, just a point behind Atletico de Madrid. But how many of these trophies do you think Real Madrid can win at the end of the season? The FA Cup, the Emirates FA Cup, and the biggest game in the round 5 that happened at the Emirates, and that was where the 2 most successful clubs in the history of the oldest cup competition in the world were pitted against each other. Arsenal at home to Manchester United, and you'd be thinking this was actually going to be one for the ages. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and then also you can leave your comment in the comment section. But before that, make sure you turn on the notification button. Now, let's talk about the game. In perspective, Manchester United going into that game after that 2-2 draw away at Liverpool. So, yes, you could talk about the fact that their confidence was somewhat brimming. And then Arsenal, they had lost in the Carabao Cup first leg semi-final game against Newcastle. So, it wasn't really a good time for them. And they went into this particular game against Manchester United with their tails up, hoping that they could brush aside, their rivals in search for an unprecedented 15th FA Cup title. So it all started, it was a very, very hot first half, if you should put it, high quality football, good display from both teams, but it was stalemate. But in the second half, it was Manchester United, just like they did at Anfield through Martinez. But this time, it was Bruno Fernandes, the captain, who put them in front. And guess what? It was just the beginning of a long night for both teams, because right after scoring, Diogo Dalot received a second yellow, which meant that he had himself sent off. And then a minute later, it was Gabriel who equalized with a volley. A lovely, sumptuous goal from Gabriel. And then, minutes later, Kai Havertz was adjudged to have been fouled in the box by Harry Maguire. So there is a penalty, and then up steps the captain, Martin Odegaard, who could only, place his shot into the hands of the Turkish goalkeeper imposed for Manchester United. That's Bayindir. So, after just in the space of 10 minutes after the game had been a bit cold and actionless and all that, then the game was just sparked to life, where United had to defend, the rest of regulation time with 10 men, and it wasn't that easy. And that's where the tactical masterclass and then also acumen of Ruben Amorim came to play. So you could see the substitutions he made on the day, and that kept Arsenal at bay. But one of the players you could give credit on the day for Manchester United was the Turkish goalkeeper, who came under lots of criticism after that 4-3 defeat to Tottenham Hotspur in the Carabao Cup quarter-final, due to the fact that he let in some, very, very cheap goals. But on the day, you could say by far he was United's best player, because he actually kept them, literally kept them in the game. So after 90 minutes, it still remained Arsenal 1, Manchester United 1. There, the game travelled to extra time, where it was a 30-long minute of football. Arsenal dominating possession, but nothing, would just go through that United defense. They were just impervious to every Arsenal attack. Every time Arsenal attacked, United had answers to it. Then came the shootout. Again, the hero, after 120 minutes, proved to be the hero again for United, saving Kai Havertz's penalty. And it also sums up Kai Havertz's day, which, went from bad to worse after he became the only Arsenal player, not to convert from 12 yards during the shootout. So Ruben Amorim, despite losing to Arsenal in the league 2-0 at the Emirates, which was one of the early games he had to play after his appointment, looked like he went back to the drawing board and fixed a couple of things. And tactically, that three-back system, despite the fact that they played more than an hour with a man down, they were still able to hold on and advance to the last, or the round 4 of the FA Cup. And now it looks like he's gradually beginning to get the acknowledgement and then also the credit he deserves as a manager. But then the question we are putting out is, after that wonderful display at the Anfield and then in the FA Cup at the Emirates, do you think that Ruben Amorim will end up succeeding? And what are the chances out of 10? I might give him an 8, but what do you say about Ruben Amorim and what he's done so far at Manchester United? Our media channel with me, Josiah. Today we'll be talking about, Barcelona in their recent resurgence after dropping valuable points in the La Liga a couple of weeks ago. It looks like gradually they are beginning to find their groove back, and they ended up walloping Real Madrid as their arch rivals in Saudi Arabia in the Supercopa España finale. And we'll be talking about Hansi Flick and how he is able to get things done. He's working some magic for Barcelona, especially whenever they come up against the Los Blancos. But don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and then also you can just hit the notification button so that you stay updated with all the news we'll be bringing your way. So now let's talk about the Supercopa finale, where Real Madrid ended up being battered by 5-2. No one actually saw that, especially considering the fact that they took the lead through Kylian Mbappe, and then it was Barcelona's turn to respond, and they scored 5 unanswered goals to take the lead 5-1 before Rodrigo, dispatched one superb free kick, but that just couldn't impact the game in any way, because Barcelona had to defend for almost 30 minutes and over, plus added time with 10 men. So it wasn't quite easy for them. Some is saying that it could have been a different narrative if Szczesny wasn't sent off. So yes, but still, there's still quite a lot of positives to take from that game after winning by 5-2. So in their last 2 meetings against Real Madrid, they have scored 9 goals, a total of 9 goals and considered just 2. So it looks like Hansi Flick, despite the fact that he's struggling in the league, he's on 38 points, set 5 points behind Real Madrid and then 6 points behind Atletico Madrid. It looks like he's getting something right, as far as Real Madrid or playing against Real Madrid is concerned. And people are asking, is this the beginning of a new era for Hansi Flick and Barcelona? We saw what Xavi did, but Xavi was deemed not good enough to lead Barcelona, to greater heights. So Hansi Flick was appointed. His early days as Barcelona were just historic. They were winning games, were brushing aside every opponent, that came their way. Then all of a sudden, they took a slump. And then they started losing games. So proud to, winning that Copa del Rey game against CD Babastro, and then the win against Athletic Bilbao, and then the finale against Real Madrid. They had lost their last 2 games against UD Las Palmas and then also Leganes. So it looks like, yes, they turned the corner, which is too early to say because we've seen Barcelona drop points, in some crucial games. But you talk about how they managed to beat Athletic Bilbao. It was flawless from them. And despite the fact that, they got pegged in the game through, a lovely finish from Kylian Mbappe, they still managed to, just gather some confidence, and they were not perturbed at all, and they managed to win by 5 goals to 2. So now the connoisseurs of the game are saying that they are still in the title hunt, which is quite funny looking at how well Atletico Madrid are playing, and then also how good Madrid can be when it comes to playing the league. But the question we are asking ultimately is that looking at the materials available for Hansi Flick, there's a young Lamine Yamal who is being regarded as one of the best youngsters in world football. There's Rafinha, who nearly got sold, but then he's found some redemption. There is Casado, who is playing like prime Busquets. There is Gavi, and then also there is Pedri. So quite a number of players in there. Even Balde, is a budding talent. So talent abounds for Hansi Flick. But the question is, after this win, and bagging his first trophy as a Barcelona manager, would you say it's a beginning of a new era for Barcelona? You can also have your say in the comment section. Just comment and also like.